Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in this series. This is going to be Socke versus Cloud here on Entombed Valley. Cloud spawning as the red Terran player over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile Socke spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map as the blue Protoss. Protoss versus Terran here on Entombed Valley. We'll see what's going to go down here. Now, and this map is generally one of those maps that has a lot of ground units just because of how wide open the center is here. In terms of a Zerg versus a Terran, or Zerg in general, they like this matchup just because it's fairly easy to take third base, and the fourth base isn't as difficult as, say, Antigua Shipyard. Now, in a Zerg versus Terran, I don't really know who does have an advantage. There is a lot of dead space over here to the south, and also this no man's land where a lot of units normally do not end up. So drops or anything of that sort could be effective coming in from a Terran player. Meanwhile, Protoss players normally just go for Colossi or go for Storm, and it is up to sentries with those force fields to try to corral those units and make choke points and have that be much more effective. Socke is opening up with a gateway and pylon, but he has not done any scouting as of yet. Taking a look at Cloud, who in the first game went for a 14 command center, decides to play things a little bit more safe, setting up a front door supply depot here. This will be a complete wall off for what will most likely be a command center sometime around 18 or 19. Now, we'll see what Cloud's gonna do. Cloud going for a Cloud go for a gasless expansion. Meanwhile, Socke opening up with that standard assimilator gateway. Second pylon is already done. Cybernetics core should be coming in as soon as this gateway is completed. And then at that point, I think Socke should try to actually start to do some scouting. Alright, we'll see what's going to happen. First, SCV making a move, now going out across the map. You can see a double racks now being placed down here. A little bit of an interesting move. I was normally thinking that it would be a command center, but instead going for double racks before the command center has been established, and now we may see some early aggression coming in from Cloud. Now, so far, Cloud is just going to simply walk up this ramp here, take a look around. He sees the gateway. Cybernetics core already and now just starting that research on that warp gate tech. Stalker now being added as well, as the Stalker is just going to be rallied straight across the map into these two Marines here. We are going to have perhaps 5 Marines total in just about a second, or maybe even 6 Marines in just about a second, as we are going into a mass Marine strategy coming in from Cloud. This is going to be huge. What most likely Cloud can do in order to make this be much more effective, if Cloud positioned these Marines right here in this brush, he could actually get some easy shots off onto the Stalker before the Stalker actually started to fire back. Here we go. The Stalker is now trying to come in, and now the Stalker is engaging, taking a lot more damage than it should. And now already down to 73 hit points as it pulls away there. Nicely done. More Marines still being added. And this mass Marine strategy, which is gasless at this point, up to 31 supply, what will be happening? We are now at 4 Marines, 7 Marines total in the center, with 3 more Marines still being trained. We are going into a lot more gateways, and I like this response by Socke. A lot of the times Protoss players will be, you know what, I'm going to go a 1-gate expand into a robotics facility to really see what's going on. The reason why this doesn't really work, though, is that, oh, what is this? The Stalker is engaging against the Marines. When SCV does get a little bit ahead, was trying to perhaps get in front of that Stalker. The Stalker able to fight and shoot down the unit there, as now we are going to have Marines already here at the natural expansion. Marines going to start shooting, get some perhaps easy damage once again onto the Stalkers. We get a force field splitting off the units, and now the Marines have about 15 more seconds before that force field does go down. He may be able to just simply shut down this nexus here. Cloud with a slight advantage. We already going to see Zealots on the low ground. Zealots are going to be coming in from over here. There comes the Stalker. Here come the sentries. One sentry could get taken down. Down it goes. And now going after a Stalker. The Stalker is going to get taken down. The Marine's doing a little bit of that stutter step. Should be able to focus down the Marine. Yes, going to take down the Marine as well. And now 500 resources lost versus 475, with a whole bunch of damage done to the shields of a Nexus. Now Cloud is a bit behind. I like that play coming in from Socke, warping in units onto the low ground there. The two zealots on the low ground is really what did it for Socke, being able to warp in units in position, not strictly coming down from that ramp. And with that, you can now see the Stalkers are going to try to do a little bit of a push. There are a lot of Marines here. How are we going to do this? The Marines are going to try to engage, go up against all of these Stalkers. The Stalkers are now backing off after taking a little bit of damage. And where are these units all going to go next? Stalker now down here on the low ground. Destructible rocks over here is going to make this much more difficult, as the units will be able to see. I don't believe Cloud is actually... No, Cloud does have sight on those rocks. Is he keeping track of the damage on the rocks is the key question. Marines are off over here. You can see that a second bunker is being established. The proxy pylon already being established down here, as we are going into a robotics facility at the natural expansion location. Socke with a 10 or now a 14 supply advantage. What will be happening? A proxy pylon is established here. One proxy pylon down over here. More stalkers being added. This is not good. The stalker needs to back away. Could easily take down these rocks from the low ground. And Cloud is now about 12 supply behind. He is training up 3 Marines at a time. He does finally have a tech lab placed down, but without any Marauders, this is going to be a very difficult battle, as he's not going to be able to destroy these stalkers all too easily. One Marine now making its way down off over here. How many gateways are being powered? Currently only 4 gateways. Double forge is now coming in. Zealots doing a little bit of a push there, actually taking some damage from the bunker, as 2 zealots, stalkers, and sentries now pulling back once more. There is still this proxy pylon. Socke does not have that much, but he will be going into Colossi. And if he gets those Colossi into play before there are Vikings available, then those Colossi should be able to destroy the bunkers before the Marines and the Marauders are able to come out and stim to counterattack. Starport also being established here. We are going into double tech labs, single reactor, 2 more barracks being added, as we now see Cloud really heavily going into that level 2 level 3 weapons upgrade already with the armory, and we're going to see very heavy bioplate come in from Cloud. He may be hitting a little bit of a timing here. We can see so far that he does not look like he wants to take another expansion. This is the time where he's just trying to train up units, and he is doing exactly that. Also getting the necessary upgrades, also adding in 2 additional reactors. Actually, no, 2 additional tech labs. Okay, the reactor, okay, 1 reactor, 1 tech lab. So it will be triple training Marauders, double training medevacs, and quad training up Marines. The 1 factory could lift off and try to figure out and do a little bit of scouting, but he doesn't really want to do that as of yet. We are getting into a Twilight Council, so level 2 weapons and armor upgrades could be coming in as well. Socke now sitting on about a 12 supply advantage. Will Cloud be able to capitalize once again like he did in game 1, or will Socke's advantage be just a little bit too much? We'll see what's going to happen here. 15 supply advantage. Cloud now trying to re-establish those supply depots, now also salvaging a bunker or 2. He is getting up combat shield and concussive shells, and this may be a little bit of a 2-2 timing. There are only 3 Marauders in this group. 2 more medevacs should be able to join in on this fight here. About a minute and a half left. The Marauders and the Marines are going to clean up 1 proxy pylon, but Socke could easily warp in a few more units here and come in with a very strong counterattack. SCV coming around the corner will be building up a command center, most likely, as there is a very large Terran bioforce in the middle of the map. We are going into a second Colossus. So 2 Colossi, extended thermal lance range about to be completed, and we could be going into 3 Colossi in just a moment. Down goes 1 Marine there. We can see that there are Marines and Marauders now coming up the far side here. There is no command center yet being established, perhaps wanting to see how much damage he can do, but here's the next engagement. There's the force fields, beautifully played, as Socke gets in some easy damage with the help of one observer. The Marines and the Marauders are all now backing away. Cloud may be forced to get off another stim here in just a moment. Colossi now getting in position, and now the medevacs have picked up all of those units. Colossi chasing around these medevacs here. The medevacs are going up onto the high ground. The stalkers could try to perhaps position as the medevacs now retreat. I like this play. It made it look like he was trying to do a drop into the 3rd base, and instead it came back around, and he's going to split up those units. Medevacs are down off over here on the bottom right-hand side. Meanwhile, Marauders and Marines sitting in the center. Still no command center sitting off over here. One Zealot going to get taken down by multiple Marines. We can also see some Zealots getting taken down off over here by Marauders and Marines here. So not that good of a trade at all. Harvester is account 72 versus 56. Socke once again with the advantage in terms of overall economy, but will he be able to follow it up is the key question. Medevac now looking to do a bit of a drop. There is one photon cannon and only one photon cannon. Is it going to be within range is the question. I believe range of 7 and ever so barely. Yes, the medevacs are going to be doing a drop straight inside the base. There is a photon cannon up on the high ground. Zealots now coming in. The medevacs now perhaps going to try to do a drop behind the mineral line. Zealots are in position. How much damage can be dealt? More Zealots now trying to come back around. Those Zealots on the wrong side of that chasm there, as we now see Marines trying to unload, and it looks as though the probes are going to be pulling away. More Zealots making their way over, as we are going to see the Colossi walking all the way from attack position to try to and clean up this drop. The Marines and the Marauders still doing a great job. 3-3 upgrades now being researched as they are going to try to do a drop up onto the high ground. Stalkers are in position though. One medevac will get shot down, and it looks like the full medevac, or the semi-full medevac, going to get destroyed first. Now, Cloud is coming across the center. He does have a 20 supply deficit that he needs to make up here. We can see also Psystorm is being researched. Do we have no Archon now being added first, as the Colossus walking straight into a Viking, and that was a horrible loss there. Socke now in a bit of trouble. Stalkers are going to be able to get down some of those Vikings. Yes, there they go. Stalkers also caught in the wrong location. Vikings now trying to go after the Colossi. We do have the Guardian Shield adding an additional 2 armor, as the Colossi now making their way forward again, and this is going to get focused down really quickly. So 2 Colossi getting destroyed in a matter of seconds. Not too great of a play there, as we are now going to see Marines and the Marauders inside the main base. They are overextending themselves. 50 supply down now. Cloud is going to try to continue to follow this up, perhaps taking down 1 Forge, stopping the upgrades. No, not able to even do that, as Marauders and Marines try to stim, and now we'll see what's going to be happening. Zealots now going to run up the ramp off over here. There are some Marines in position. The Zealots do not have, no, they do have charge, and here we go. They're going to charge straight inside here, and then to start destroying this mineral line. The SCVs are upgraded with armor. The Zealots are not going to be able to deal that much additional damage, as we now see one medevac hiding in the back off over here. It looks like it will get cleaned up in just a second. Zealots now continuing to move across the field. Zealots also getting destroyed by Marines and Marauders, but Socke pretty much is pushing back against Cloud. Cloud now trying to re-macro up, as Socke does a double expand here into the 6 o'clock expansion, and also down over here into the 5 o'clock expansion location. There is about a 70 supply difference between these two players now. Socke having a commanding lead, and it looks like he will be able to capitalize on its 3-2 upgrades, or 2-3 upgrades. 3-3 upgrades look like they will be coming in. Viking now comes in. Guardian Shield, Stalkers, Vikings, Psystorm, and there's the GG. Cloud doesn't even need to see the rest of this battle. Cloud losing game 2 here on Entombed Valley to Socke. Stay tuned for game 3.